Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Treen, and every week I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things intuition. Through personal stories, experiences, and practices, offering energetic reflections to help you discover, connect, and fully realize how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello, welcome. Happy 2022. It's amazing, isn't it? It's remarkable to me. This year is kind of a big year age-wise for me. This is going to be my 40th birthday. But that doesn't come until August, so that is kind of nice to have a little bit of time to digest it, even though I'm very excited about it. And fours, if you listen to my episodes on following my purpose and how I found my intuitive Reiki practice, fours were really big for me. So I am kind of excited to be moving out of the 30s and into the 40s. And when I was younger, when I had friends in my 40s, or friends in their 40s, they would tell me that they loved it, they felt more confident, less self-conscious, more authentic in their power, all of those things. And it's hard to believe that, isn't it? Because we're told by society, everyone around us, we're really told that aging is wrong. I worked in the cosmetic industry for 15 years, 16 years. And the most expensive things, thank you, Bandit. My cat really agrees with this. The most expensive things, upwards of sometimes $1,200 for a 50 milliliter cream, were all about anti-aging. Reverse time. Remove the wrinkles. Have that aging retreat, get rid of it. And I really bought into that, even though I didn't want to. But I believed it. A smooth forehead, smooth under eyes, that youthful glow. A real currency for women in our society. But now that I'm on the cusp of turning 40, where those, at least today, I'll say today, you couldn't pay me to go back to being in my 20s. Because that youth really comes at a price. A price of not knowing myself or what I wanted in life, what I was good at. What true satisfaction could feel like. To really allow parts of myself to be seen that terrified me before. And that cost now, in my present life, it's not worth it. And it's really funny because I did not think I would be talking about this, but something about 2022, all the twos, adding up to 4, adding up to 6, and 40. There it is. It's just on my mind. Every time I think of 2022, I think of my 40th birthday because I've been thinking about it, like not all of my life, but definitely most of my life, because I was born in 1982. So I knew by 2022 that would be a big year. And it also really sounds like the future. We're in 2022. Anything is possible. That's the optimistic side. As you and I know, things have happened that we thought would never be possible. And there's a darker edge to that, which we hear about all the time. So I'm not even going to talk about it. because we all know what's going on in the world and we're all dealing with it every day. So let's focus on the things that are partially in our control. And for me, that's my perspective on aging. And that makes me think of something I came to realize over the holiday break. Oh, and sidebar on that, this is only the second year where I haven't been working during the holidays and really planning for the next part of the year because I was in that cosmetic corporate retail. So for, 15, 16 years, I never had that 2-week break that some people get, or even the 4-day break that some people get. I always thought of it as kind of the civilian lifestyle, that I would have to be there usually on Boxing Day, back to work, getting things going, or working on Christmas Eve, overseeing things, making sure that those last few dollars that we needed were getting in. And I've worked on Christmas Day before too. And I know many people have. So, this is more the majority of what the world tells us during the holidays, where it is, time to take a break, relax, get ready for the new year. I had never really experienced that. And I saw that thing on the internet that usually goes around every year during the holidays where it says, oh, it's that time between Christmas and New Year's where I don't even know what day it is. And I never understood that. I understood it, intellectually, but I never got to experience that. I didn't know what that was like because I was always very hyper aware of what day it was because it was very, intertwined with my career and my job. We are already looking, by the time Christmas is over, it's like, okay, scrap that Valentine's Day. What are we going to do to make up the money that maybe we lost during the holidays? But this year I did. I forgot. I was able, very, very luckily, especially during the times right now, I was able to see some of my family in a safe way or as safe as we could be. And it was so nice. And the whole time, this would be my second year, the whole time, I was so aware every time I would forget. I was really reflecting a lot on how lucky I was and how so grateful and so appreciative I was that I actually could have a holiday. Because even if I did visit my family for, say, Boxing Day, the day after, 3 days after Christmas, or maybe I would be there for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, but then straight back, recoup everything that I had missed. I was also very stressed out because it's a stressful time of year if you are in a corporate retail structure, in addition to all of the regular stresses that the holidays can bring. So it was remarkable. It was amazing, and I was so happy. And I got a real break. So if any of this that I'm saying is making you feel very jealous, because I have been jealous before of people when they spoke like this, so that is 100% okay. If you didn't get a break really because you have children where you don't get a minute to yourself, so it doesn't really matter what holidays happen, you usually have to do extra work around them. I'm sorry. And I really, really wish, in my best Canadian sorry, I could really hear the accent there. I wish for you to experience it at some point where you can just release the pressure off of yourself and just enjoy it. Enjoy the holiday for what it is, whether you celebrate it or celebrate more of the traditions around it without the religious context. I hope there was some bright spots, a few moments of joy. And even if you can't really think of them right now, maybe it'll ruminate a little bit. And you'll kind of shift that perspective of how challenging or annoying or frustrating the few weeks before the new year was for you. And thank you for indulging me on how I really looked back and saw how much has changed and what I get to experience now. And I have some really exciting things planned for the new year. I'm going to be doing some very interesting and kind of unique workshops that I had some inspiration for over the holidays, and some group Reiki certifications, which I've been doing one-on-ones last year. And I finally created a really gorgeous structure to support anyone who really feels called to learn the system of healing of Reiki. And I created the structure in a way that I wish that I had been kind of taught. And I had really great teachers, but the traditional structure is, 1 or 2 full days, and then that's it. And then you're just kind of like left to your own devices. And I had to do a lot of research and support myself on the other hand of that. But I wanted to offer kind of what I found for myself to my students so that they didn't have to do that on their own. So if you want to kind of hear a little bit more about that for when I launch those groups, you can go to the show notes and join the waitlist to hear about it. And you can also join my new Tree-Light letter, which will be a monthly kind of check-in letter to let you know what's going on, what I have as free offerings to you, and what also I am working on to offer you in workshops and those kind of things. And I will send you this podcast too. Kind of a monthly roundup of the themes and what we're working with and what we're looking forward to. So I hope that it'll add a lot of kind of value to your month. And I'm looking at it to more be something that, supports you and supports you while you navigate through the month rather than just, oh, here, look at what I'm going to be doing. It's really about what I can offer you, because I get a lot of emails and I don't really open all of them, but I love the ones that offer me something that I didn't even know I wanted. So I hope to do that for you too. But anyway, after all of that, wow, total sidebar, big digress. Anyway, whichever the right pronunciation is. Before I digressed and took us on a totally different track, I was speaking to you that this year I'm turning 40 on August 19th. So I got a little bit of time. And what I noticed for myself is most of the time I'm feeling okay about my lines and wrinkles, more long-lasting impressions of those that I've noticed on my face, especially in the winter in the Northern Hemisphere, because it can be so dry. And one of the big keys to the youthful glow is sunscreen and hydration. Some people will put retinol in there. I'm pretty sensitive to it. So hydration. Any nice microfractionated hyaluronic acid that will absorb beautifully into your skin. And then you can put some face oil on top of that doesn't have too many astringent essential oils. Okay, there we go. There's a little bit of skincare tip for you. Some New Year's skin reminders. Maybe I'll make that a tradition. I'll do that for 2023 as well. So what I noticed and why I wanted to speak to this, because it really came into the same context as my relationship to my intuition, is that when I do have those moments or days when I notice a little bit more deeply, when I focus my attention more on my wrinkles, my fine lines, my signs of aging, I really start to think about, well, why don't I just do a little bit of filler or a little bit of Botox? So many people do it. I'm not against it. I think everybody should do whatever they want. But whenever I've thought about it for myself in the past and presently, off and on, my intuition always tells me that kind of foundational feeling around it of whether it's a good idea for me or not. My intuition says, to what end? To what end? It's a slippery slope for me. Because I am a very visual person, I'm able to kind of hyper-focus on what something looks like. That's what I've noticed for myself. And there can be quite a bit of unrealistic perception. And the way I perceive what I look like or what I'm looking at tends to really be based on how I'm feeling. And that's what I just wanted to offer today. And I'm sure I'll be talking more about it through the year because 40 is a big turning point. I'm not young. I mean, even in your 30s, you're not really young. But these days, the way that society tells us, it's like, some 30-year-olds still live with their parents and all that. Still figuring things out. But when you hit 40, that's middle-aged. If you're lucky enough to live till you're 80. Not everybody does. So, in the grander scheme, it's a big one. It's a big one. But I'm sure if I'm lucky enough to live till 60, I'll look back and say, oh, God, I was so young when I was 40. So, again, all perspective. But because of this new year, a lot of times we're kind of sold, what do we need to change? What resolution do we need to make? And whether it's our fitness goals or aesthetic goals. Maybe what comes to your mind is, I really want to get rid of these wrinkles. And I get it because I want a smooth space there too that once was. But the reason that I haven't done Botox yet, and I'll say yet because who knows, right? Who knows? I'm going to give myself the grace of changing my mind. But the main reason that I haven't embarked on that, and it's not because it is a neurotoxin, which maybe it should be. Maybe that should be my reason, but it's actually not, to be totally honest. The reason I haven't is because when I tune in, when I really get quiet, and because of all the practice I've done and in the energy work that I do, I'm able to connect to my intuition quite quickly, translate the guidance that I'm receiving, and it's always telling me, it's not about your wrinkles. It's not about these signs of aging that you're focusing on. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm being told. And every time I receive that message from my intuition, I know it. I feel it in my body. I know my body kind of relaxes. I tend to take a breath and I really feel right. It's not about that. Why am I focusing on my forehead wrinkles or my crow's feet? Because crows are pretty great. So I don't even mind using that term. And that's why I've tried my best to really put into practice that when I'm focusing on my signs of aging, when I find myself Googling down a rabbit hole of certain treatments or that new cream that promises, to just iron out those creases like they've never been there before, I really take a moment and I try to give myself a lot of compassion, because it's ingrained in me to not like these things and to get rid of them. And I ask myself, what am I really feeling that this distraction of hyper focus on these signs of aging, what is it covering up? What am I really feeling self-conscious about? Because for me, it's not the wrinkles. Like I said, it's not. That is just how it's manifesting. And usually, it's a little bit different, but I'll share, the recent one that I came to. And for me, it was really about a little bit of fear. Fear of being fully myself, of expressing myself with a true freedom, more than I ever have. And that's what I really want to bring into this year. And I found that the more I thought about that, of just being my full creative self, just making things and doing things and offering things that I know have helped me and I want to offer to others and to you so that they may help you too. That's scary, because what if you don't like them? At the simplest possible way to say it. What if you just don't like it? So without really dealing with that kind of churn of, a little wavering in my self-confidence there, a little wavering in my will, in my full, worth of, well, whatever happens, I'll still be here. It'll be okay. Everything that I do and experience is going to just inform the next thing. So there really is no wrong way to go, as long as I trust myself. And that's what I came to. The deeper thing underneath, not being super confident, is I wasn't trusting myself. And that was manifesting as wanting to change the way I looked, to be more acceptable. And that may not be the same for you, but I wanted to offer it as an example, to really be aware of when you are wanting to change your physical being. What are you really trying to do? And one day for me, it may be truly because I want to soften the lines. Maybe I'll feel like it's not, in congruence with how I'm feeling. Maybe my lines one day will make me look a little bit frustrated or angry. And maybe I'll want to soften them because I'll say, that's not how I feel. And we have this great technology that helps to do that. But I'm really making a promise to myself to make sure that I will always have the intentions that I feel are right for me when I do something as simple and popular and incredibly mainstream as cosmetic injections and fillers. So I hope that helped you to kind of dig a little deeper. Use your intuition in maybe a little bit of a different way than you had thought of. Because we do a lot of things because we are conditioned and just kind of going with the flow of society. and what we're told we should do. And a lot of the times, we don't have to. And you can spend that, $500 on something that maybe you'll want and value a little bit more. And I wanted to finish off this episode with a January 2022 energetic impression. I wanted to continue to share those. I felt really called to continue to do it. So I know that this episode comes out on Friday, but it's interesting because when I was journaling about it and really tuning in to my intuition about the energy that I'll be moving through and collectively perhaps as well, it felt like an overarching theme as well. So not necessarily only for January, but perhaps for a piece of this 2022 year. And the words that really came to me were wild trust. So back to that trust. And trust has been a big one, coming up quite a few times in many of these episodes. But I think that is where so much of our power is. Trusting ourselves, moving away from self-doubt, making changes, taking something that may feel like a risk. We need trust. And I love the energy around wild trust. Because when something is wild, it is in the most natural state that it can be. It is not being controlled. It's that level of trust in ourselves that allows us to go the distance, to remember that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. To really not have any caveats. No, okay, I'll trust myself if, or, all right, if I get a sign or I'm told that, then that'll be like a good omen, and then I can trust this feeling or this pull to do something, this inspiration, this idea for change, this kind of way that I'm feeling that I want to continue on in my life. To really trust that without needing to have any kind of illusion of some kind of safety around it. To be fully wild in your trust. When somebody asks you, well, how's that going to work? And you say, oh, I don't know. But I know that I have to try. Or calling on that wild trust when maybe this month somebody says, well, what are your New Year's resolutions? What are you going to do? Why haven't you figured anything out? Like, what's going on? Or even when you're saying that to yourself. And maybe in the deepest depths of your intuition, you know that it's not time yet. Things are being woven. Even though it's technically the new year, maybe you're feeling very, very deeply that, no, it's not for me. I still need to rest. I still need to retreat. I still need to have that nice winter hibernation feeling in the Northern Hemisphere of, let's just wait until the spring. That wild trust will come in when what you want to do and how you're feeling about something might be the exact opposite of what everyone around you is feeling or speaking about or telling you to do. Because what I was really feeling around the energy of January is that it's a deep integration time. That so much happened last year, and especially in the few months leading up to the new year. that we are kind of, and I am definitely, still recalibrating, still getting used to everything that changed, all that was released, whatever that means to you. And allowing ourselves to trust that that's how we feel and that's what we need. That might cause some conflict and polarity in our lives because it's the opposite of what the world is telling us, of what we should be doing in a January of the calendar year. So for this month, for 2022, in January, when you're not sure how to navigate something, maybe write down, how can I wildly trust myself right now? What does that mean? What does that mean to you? And I really feel like that will help bring some beautiful clarity to your life and to decisions that maybe you need to make. And it will help you honor the choices that you feel are right for you. Even if that choice is, I gotta just wait. And I can't make a choice right now. That's what I'm really feeling, that this is the month to remember. That old cliche, which is a cliche for a reason. Remember that our life, especially right now, is not a sprint. That we can go the distance if we remember that it is a marathon. So there is time. There is so much time. And you will know what to do with that time if you can, if we can, wildly trust ourselves. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Intuitive Seek. I'd love to hear if you resonated with the energy I'm feeling and moving through for January. And if you have any thoughts or questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message through my website, treenlight.com, or through my Instagram. You can follow me at Treenlight, TREENLIGHT. And if you have been curious about working with me, consider this your sign that I always offer a free clarity session to chat about your needs and to see how I can support you and if we would be a good fit. It's easy to book your free clarity session through my website, and I'll leave all the links that I mentioned in the show notes. And you'll also find the link to sign up for my Treenlight letter if you haven't already. Hugely appreciate if you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give some support, then please share this episode with a friend, or you could leave a review. So appreciated. Thank you for all of your reviews. And thank you for all of your support. Be kind to yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.